Pops in a Pod, episode 14, Parents in Bollywood Films.
Peter, how is the lockdown going? I'm not even sure if this is a question anymore because every time we talk, this just kind of comes up like it's no longer hi. It's like, hey,
Yeah.
well, how's the lockdown treating you, man?
I think it's one of those situations you survived another day kind of thing, right?
Yeah. I don't know. I'm going through this very weird mixed feeling, mixed emotion sort of thing where I'm enjoying one day and I'm kind of getting irritated the next day. So yeah, I'm sort of managing in some way or the other.
I think that's kind of how it's been for a lot of people, not only just us. But let me address the elephant in the room. For those of you listening, you'll have realized we've released this a couple of days late. We had a bit of a technical issue, and I think the lockdown doesn't make it easier itself. But hey, here we are. And it's a little different episode. It was quite fun to record.
I agree. I think it was a good departure from the regular stuff that we discuss, on the podcast. This time we thought, okay, you know what? Let's do something light. Let's do something a little fun. Too much of coronavirus going on, and I mean, everyone knows that it's a shitty situation to be in. So we decided that let's delve into the lovely world of Bollywood.
Considering we live in Bombay, Mumbai, the capital of Bollywood, and again, Bollywood is one of the biggest things. So someone like me, like I said, who doesn't really watch a lot of Bollywood movies, still cannot escape it. So yeah.
Correct. And for this, we've invited Alok Sharma, who is a writer, director, producer for television and film. He is also a very, very strong proponent of comics in India. I think that has been his first love right from the beginning. And we've called him to discuss two very prominent films. The first one is Tare Zameen Par, and the second one is Chichore.
Without further ado, here's our conversation with Alok Sharma.
Alok, thank you so much for coming on our podcast. We really appreciate you are very busy even in this lockdown period. So we really appreciate that you've removed some time for us and you've come to hopefully have fun on our podcast.
Thanks a lot, Nadir. Thank you, Peter. I mean, I'm not that busy, but what is best time for a writer, actually.
Exactly. I was just coming to that this must be the best time for a writer.
रुका नहीं है. हमारा काम double हो गया.
But Alok, I want to start off with at least generally saying is that, Nadir and I, while we were preparing for this, we were discussing just how over the last 40, 50 years that we've been looking at different kinds of cinema, how the roles of parent really has evolved. Is that something that you've noticed also as somebody who's been watching movies your entire life?
Parenting has evolved over a period of time. I mean, if you'll go to 1970s, you have parents like Nirupa Roy who couldn't, handle parenting at all. Like, she managed to lose her kids almost in every second film. And when she wasn't losing her kids, she was like doing random stuff when it comes to parenting, where one son becomes a gangster and another one will become a policeman. What are you doing with your kids? And why are you doing this? Ghar mein drama kyun? So from there to you have kids when you have like parenting in the modern cinema, it's fairly realistic. You can see parents doing things in real life and how it's reflecting in cinema. I hope 70s में बहुत सारे माँ बाप ने खोया नहीं होगा and it's not like inspired by stories, but this one, the new age parenting is definitely inspiring a lot of filmmakers, is what I would like to believe.
I mean, we turned out all right, so I guess our parents have done a decent enough job.
Yeah. They definitely managed to do something good. Yeah.
But interesting that you spoke about the evolution of parenting, because today that's exactly we're discussing on those lines. There are two films that we wanted to sort of bounce off you. One is Tare Zameen Par. Very, very popular, very famous film.
I think that is my most favorite film in the last decade or so.
Oh, lovely. Great. Great. Then we'll love to hear more about it. And the second film, which is again part of the modern era, very recent, in fact, last year it came out, which is Chichore. Again, very close to what modern parenting is all about. But modern parenting obviously is a part and parcel of what we are going to discuss today. But I think the most important aspect is education of children in India specifically. Right. So, Alok, I didn't want to stop your train of thought, but let's just start off. Since Tare Zameen Par was such an impact on you, both emotionally and personally, please tell us your first thoughts.
So the thing is, when Tare Zameen Par came out, I think it came out in 2008, right?
Right.
I had so many artist friends calling me and pushing me to watch the film, and I, finally said, "Okay, chalo dekhte hain isko kya hai." I went to watch the film, and it just hit me. The film, the moment it starts, it hit me. I am ईशान नंदकिशोर अवस्थी एक्चुअली, टू बी वेरी ऑनेस्ट. मैं मेरा काम आराम से करता हूँ, मेरे को डेडलाइन से मतलब नहीं है. मेरे बहुत सारे ऐसी चीजें हैं जिनको मैं डिस्क्राइब यहाँ नहीं करना चाहता. नादिर ऑलरेडी नोज, ही सफर्ड अ लॉट. So that was there, but besides that, what I realized was, there are times the film, the tagline of the film is every child is important, right? Every child is special.
Yeah.
And it's such an amazing thought. I mean, I remember reading this Einstein ka quote. I don't remember it verbatim, but it was, if you judge a fish's
Correct. Ability to learn by seeing if he can climb a tree, then you should always think it's stupid all its life.
Yeah, it's called everybody. The quote is everybody is a genius, but if you judge a fish by its ability to climb a tree, it will live its whole life believing that it is stupid.
Correct.
That line somehow stayed with me, and then Tare Zameen Par happened, and I realized actually what happens is कि parents don't realize, मतलब वो एक होता है ना, quintessential शर्मा जी का बेटा, वो 80% लाता है, ये करता है, वो करता है, आप क्यों नहीं ला रहे हो? And ये बड़ा bizarre सा फंडा होता है. And the problem is कि every family has a cousin who's doing really well in his or her studies. And you have to be like, whether you like it or not, you are getting compared to this person all the time.
But in Ishan's case, it is very sad because he doesn't even have to look outside the house. His
brother is an overachiever, yeah. And mostly parents are living their dreams through these kids. That's what I've seen in a lot of families. Even in my extended families, I can see those parents. मैं ये नहीं कर पाया तो मेरा बच्चा ये करेगा. My kid should become this because I couldn't become this. There are so many parents I know जो खुद एक्टर बनना चाहते थे अपने जमाने में, and then somehow they push their kids into acting, whether they never ask them whether they like acting or not. Think about like Harivansh Rai Bachchan, if he would have asked Amitabh Bachchan to become a poet.
Right.
Yeah, it would have been very sad for filmmakers. And you never know, you might have had like a very bad poet, and you like, अरे यार हरिवंश राय बच्चन का बेटा पोएट तो बन गया, लेकिन मजा नहीं आता वो पोएट्री देखने में.
I guess you can say the same thing with what's happening to his son right now.
I won't make a comment like that, but this idea was actually I was in an auto and the auto wala said कि अभी देखो ना साहब, अभिषेक को कुछ और कर लेना चाहिए, उसको एक्टिंग ही करने का है. अभी अमिताभ बच्चन बोलता है मेरे को लिखने का है और वो अच्छा नहीं लिखता तो फिर क्या होता. एंड इट जस्ट हिट मी, बात तो बराबर बोल रहा है रिक्शा वाला. सो अगेन दैट इज समथिंग दैट अ रिक्शा वाला टोल्ड मी एंड इट स्टेड विद मी कि व्हाट इफ अमिताभ बच्चन वुड हैव बिकम अ पोएट. लाइक सोचो मधुशाला का कुछ सीक्वल लिख रहे होते वो,
राइट,
एंड मधुशाला ऑलरेडी इज अ ब्यूटीफुल थिंग, सो यू डोंट हैव टू गो एंड टच इट. बट मधुशाला किसी ने बनाया हुआ है तो हम फादर ने बनाया तो मैं एक मधुशाला बनाता हूँ. ही नेवर डिड दैट. So there are two ways of looking at it, is how I would like to say. I mean, I'm not a parent, so I cannot really say how parents' psychology works. But as a writer, when I try to study people's psychology around me, I feel there are two kinds of parents, right? One is an overachiever parent, right? So that parent has already done really well for himself and herself, basically. And they really don't want their kids to take that pressure because वो बहुत ज्यादा हो जाएगा. उनको भी मालूम है कि मैंने ओवर अचीव मार दिया है. आई एम एन ओवर अचीवर. अभी expecting the same from my own kid will be a disrespect to the kid's individuality. So they are sorted there. And there are times because I would say the kid is also in a very privileged position where the exposure of that kid will be very different.
Exactly.
So that
Peter,
kid will be independent.
I'm going to stop you on that because you're kind of going ahead. With regards to Tare Zameen Pe, right? Why don't we discuss the second type of parent? Because I think that's more relevant in.
That is where I was coming right after this.
Sure.
The middle class
Sure.
parent, because middle class का problem क्या है ना, हमारी मूंगफली जितनी इज्जत है, छोटी सी, and we try to save it, you know, क्योंकि इतनी ही है, ये इससे बढ़ेगी भी नहीं, इससे कम भी नहीं होगी, जितनी है उतनी बहुत है. तो अब उसको बचा के रखने की जरूरत है. अब उसको कैसे आप बचाओगे? Because you are already middle class. You already are going to an office. You know your chances of promotion are limited. You cannot quit from your job because you have kids, you have a family to take care of, you have EMIs. So you are stuck in a position. You cannot grow. You remember कि अरे मेरे पास chances थे grow करने के, उस टाइम में मैंने बहुत मस्ती मार दिया, मेरी तकदीर खराब है, whatever, whoever you want to blame. And now you really want to escape your reality, and there's no other way of escaping this reality than pushing your kids into a space where they are performing for you.
So basically, it's the parent that is living very vicariously through their children because
Through their
because they
kids,
couldn't
yeah,
do something that they wanted. Peter, I don't know about you, but my wife keeps telling me, like in my case, my daughter's all like she'll be 4 in a couple of months, and you like to daydream about certain things. Or her logical skills are great, or she's very physical, she runs around, and maybe she'll get into sports. And my wife's like, stop thinking for her, like you need to stop doing that. She will be who she wants to be. And obviously in my head I'm thinking, I'm not going to push her to do whatever that she wants, right? She can do whatever she wants. But I think it's so ingrained in your mind. I don't know, Peter, do you have such discussions with your wife as well?
Yeah, I mean, I think that's the very inherent parenting thing. You want to kind of, or you notice a certain thing. Like, I completely agree when it comes to like physical attributes and things you were saying. So my son will like running fast or stuff like that, and I'll be like, yeah, he'll be an athlete. I'm going to teach him football. I'm going to teach him this. I'm going to teach him that. And then like at some point you have to kind of put a check on yourself. Is like, what am I trying to do here? Like, or where is this kind of stemming from? And that's the same thing you kind of see in the movie, right? Where the father with the elder son, and he makes a clear distinction also over there between his kids. I think there's quite a good scene where he tells the younger son that, you know what, we cannot come seeing you at the boarding school, but because your elder brother has the tennis match.
Correct.
And then that whole reaction of how the son cannot make it, and you just see the emotions the father goes through in there. For me, that was one of those things, exactly like what you're describing. A lot of people, I'm sure, who watched the movie kind of resonated with there, and whether they 100% identified with that father or not, but they saw a glimpse of themselves at some part that they've done it in their lives.
Or they haven't. And now they
haven't.
now they figured something that, okay, one kid is working fine, let's not screw it up for him. The second kid will figure it out on the way.
Even like I want to add this at the start, like for a lot of people, like I watched the movie for the first time. I don't know why for the longest time I've not watched the movie. But I'm glad I watched it as a parent, because at some point, we've talked about this, Nadir, that there is that expectations that you, once you're a father, you're a parent or a mother, there's a certain expectation that society has from you. And of course the father's character is very flawed in that way, where he's there, but he tries to at certain points overcompensate, like when he goes to meet Amir Khan and he says, my wife read about dyslexia on the internet, so he's trying to now be overcompensate or overdo for what he does. And I don't want to give away, I mean, everyone kind of knows that dialogue that Amir Khan says post that about the Solomon Islands and the ritual over there. And that's where you kind of see, him coming to a self-realization. Because in a way, I think most parents, I mean, of course, I'm not talking from my experience, but people, you kind of struggle with that, the fact that, your son can be like this, and they consider it like a disease, right? And when you have somebody like, Amir Khan, this character in the movie, who himself is going through something like that, it's a lot easier for him to relate and see the signs. Because of course, like, the mother's reaction also to the dyslexia is like, why my child? And I think that's a very natural thing most people would have, right? Like, how come it's happened to my child? What is the reason behind it? You're focusing more on, the
why.
problem. Yeah, the whys, not the solution. But I mean, I don't know, what are your thoughts, Nadir, on the whole thing?
Actually, I want to throw it back to Alok right now, because Alok, you're a writer, you're an artist. For you, hand-eye coordination, pen-paper coordination is the most important. So,
everything is off there. So let's not go there. I mean, when my mind is running, I am not writing. I'm like, okay, fine, all the bubbles are there. So मेरा बहुत तारे ज़मीन पर issue है वो. I'll be in my own. After Tare Zameen Par, what I realized was that I don't remember 12 years of my schooling. I just remember the suffering. Yeah, I don't remember anything about my school. In fact, let me confess it here. This last year, I went through like a major trauma, and then I went through Vipassana, and then I decided I want peace with my school. I went to my school. I went to my small town, visited my school, and I was very peaceful after visiting my school, because it's not like anybody bullied me. It was too much of an institutionalization of a person, especially when back in my head, I knew मेरे को ये सब नहीं जानना है, मेरे को trigonometry नहीं जानना है, right? And somehow accountancy became my best friend. Okay, so I was constantly creating these stories in my head, like Ishan does it with his mathematics,
right?
And accountancy somehow started working for me, because I could see stories in accountancy. It might sound bizarre.
So it's very interesting that you've actually taken something extremely precise, almost to a science, and then you've added your creativity, which is exactly what the character Ishan is also doing over here.
When you have to work it around, ना मतलब नहीं तो घर में मार पड़ेगी तुमको, स्कूल में लोग हंसेंगे, तो तुम या तो ईशानंद किशोर अवस्थी हो जाते हो, where you became a rebel. I was constantly reading comic books. Maybe that is why I became a person who can make schemes. So I would scheme like, अच्छा ठीक है एक नया economics create कर लेते हैं, अच्छा ठीक है accountancy का ये तो कहानी हो गई है. So I topped in accountancy and economics, and I scored really low marks in language, and I used to think language is my forte. हिंदी और इंग्लिश मैं बहुत decent way में जानता हूँ, मैं अच्छे से कर लूँगा.
Right.
And thankfully,
Alok, tell me something. Over here in this film also, they've given a lot of importance to teachers. I mean, Amir Khan, who obviously comes in like after 1 hour, it's a different thing, but you have so many other teacher characters in there. It's a fact that sometimes, or maybe most of the times, I don't know, I don't want to take a stand on this, that even the teachers cannot recognize something, as prevalent as dyslexia in kids, and they just think that, oh, he's a slow child, he's a special child, there are different schools for someone like this, he can't even write, he's making so many mistakes. You think even that the teachers then need to go through some form of training? I don't know, that's what
even if your teachers are going through some sort of training, right? How will they figure out कि सामने वाले बच्चे को वो problem है या नहीं है? Like when I was teaching, I saw a lot of kids writing B as D and D as B, the small letter B and D, and kids were confused. Some were confused, and some were repeating these mistakes till they were in class 9th. And I didn't know exactly who kya raha hai. Now this kid, the one I'm talking about, used to play amazing tabla. Okay, used to play really good football, but and he'll speak really well. But when he's writing, he's making some silly spelling mistakes every day. When he kept doing that for 3 months, I felt, मतलब बाकी जगह तो दिमाग सही चल रहा है, बाकी जगह तो मोटर बराबर काम कर रहा है, but ये एक particular जगह है जहाँ काम नहीं हो रहा है. And I told that to his parents, and his father like beat the kid, and I was like, आप उसको मारने का कोई मतलब नहीं है, अगर 3 महीने से वो same mistake कर रहा है, he's like, नहीं मैं इससे 100 बार लिखवाऊंगा ये letter. He got into that ईशानंद किशोर अवस्थी's father वाला space.
Right.
इसको बिठाऊंगा और 10 बार ये word लिखाऊंगा, उसके बाद ही mistake नहीं करेगा. And I'm saying, no, the kid is sharp. if he's making this mistakes, मतलब you never know यार, जैसे color blindness होता है वैसा किसी एक particular word के लिए उसको नहीं पकड़ में आ रही है चीज.
Correct.
So rather than trying to figure out what this kid is going through, you will randomly, एक तो already schools are bizarre institutes, I would like to say.
Sure.
Because teachers are dealing with 40 kids, 50 kids in a classroom.
Correct.
They are not well trained or equipped to understand every kid's needs, right? And like we just discussed that Einstein quote, तो ये स्कूल में मछली, हाथी का बच्चा और गेंडे का बच्चा तीनों पढ़ रहे हैं.
Right.
और आप तीनों को पेड़ पे चढ़ा रहे हो, तो कोई तो मार खाएगा. उसके अलावा आई रिमेम्बर रीडिंग दिस book Outliers. So Outliers has one small chapter about kids, how every year kids from the same date of birth join the class, but one kid will be born in the month of January, the other kid is born in the month of September, and they all are almost in the same class. So one kid already has a 6 से 7 महीने का advantage over the other kid.
Okay.
So chances are that kid will perform better than this one, and you are baffled कि ये बंदा क्यों नहीं perform कर रहा है बराबर से. There are things that the elder kid will understand faster, especially in smaller classes, and we are comparing them all the time, right?
Right. In this case, then the film Tare Zameen Pe is clearly a clear and a true reflection of what is happening in a lot of Indian houses. Then.
Yeah. Totally. And parenting wise, I'll say Indian parents are still not that mature because they are stuck between the parenting that they've seen, extremely possessive and extremely codependent parenting, right? जहाँ तुम्हें ये करना ही पड़ेगा, बाप की इज्जत करनी पड़ेगी, मम्मी के साथ ऐसे बात करना ही पड़ेगा, ये करना पड़ेगा, वो करना पड़ेगा. You come from a joint family. I am talking about the father in Tare Zameen. Right? So he's seen that authoritative patriarchal family, and he's saying मैं इससे तो बेहतर हूँ, मेरे father से तो शायद मैं बेहतर हूँ, because I am letting my kid go for sports. I'm providing every goddamn thing to my kids. My parents
but
might
still at some point in the film, when Aamir Khan's character comes out and says that your child might not be very good with the obvious academics like science, maths, English, language, whatever it is, but look at his art. He's a great painter. He's this, he's that. I think his creativity is lovely. And then the father runs like, "Kya karega iska? What will he do with all of this?" So
yeah, and I think
that's still there.
No, that is
and I agree. And I think in that part of the movie, right, is still the father still struggling with the fact, because I mean, you put into context here, like hearing the news, right, or you're still kind of grappling with the news. And again, when we said, if you look at it from the portrayal of how most people would think about it, the father's concern at that time is more that now the child is forever going to be dependent on me. What will he do? And the whole focus is that the whole way he was focused with the first kid, you assume is going to be with the second kid, and you're making both kids go out in a competitive world.
No, that is what codependent parenting again is, where he's over managing the child's life and the environment, and he thought he's doing really well for himself and for the kids, but now you realize this codependencies might have worked out for the elder kid, but younger one is a different kid, like he's a special child altogether. So that frustration will be there. And also when he lashes out and he says ki art karke karega kya, and all those things happen in the film, I will say कि even if Ishan wasn't dyslexic, for an Indian parent to understand and accept that the kid is going to be an artist now, he's decided to be an artist, it's very difficult for them to accept that art can also be a career choice.
Correct. Yeah, and I think that was one of the things that the film very nicely kind of tackles in there. That's why the conclusion of the movie also is how it becomes a leveler for everyone, right? You have all the way from the principal to him there, and how the whole, I think they very nicely used art as a kind of catalyst to show how, where you looked at the child from one way, where he was lacking. Now he's moved far ahead in another aspect. So yeah, it was very interesting for me. I'm glad I kind of watched it as a parent, because it makes you more sensitive and more aware of such things. If not in your own house, but at least with other children or other people that you interact with, right?
The good thing is that you at least relate to it as a parent, because the first time I saw it, I definitely wasn't a parent. I don't think I was even close to marriage. So for me, it was very good, feel good movie. This is how everyone should be. All parents should be like that. Even I will be like that with my kid and everything. Obviously, very idealistic things that you're thinking, right? But obviously, when you enter the real world of parenting, you do realize the hardships that you have to go through. For example, another very important part this movie brought about was the whole aspect of boarding school, right? I have personally been through this journey of boarding school, though I've never set foot in a boarding school. But the fear of boarding school was always there. Like both my parents at some point during my lifetime have been threatened. I have been
We all have
threatened.
been threatened. We all have been
Exactly.
threatened for boarding.
I think Nader, this is every 90s kids can relate. I think it's a very
Exactly.
हॉस्टल में डाल देंगे,
common thing.
तुमको हॉस्टल में डाल देंगे.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It's like boarding school mein bhej- and then you're just bawling and crying and like, oh my god, I can never leave my mother, and what will I do without her? It's never the father, it's always the mother that you're grabbing. Like, oh, what will I do without her and all of that. And they've portrayed the woman exactly like that. She's a homemaker, she's running behind all the kids. There's this really nice montage in the beginning where they show her beginning of the day, and the relationship between the kid and that mother, and then you suddenly throw in a boarding school kind of a issue over there, and then nobody understands, okay, how is the mother going to feel about this, because the dad is pretty adamant कि जाना तो है, छुटकारा मिल जाएगा, whatever it is. And then you have the son who's again become like this little tiny mouse. So I liked how they've grappled with that emotionally also, and from a realistic standpoint also. What did you guys go through something like that?
A second cousin of mine who went to boarding school, and similar story, but when he came back after a year or two from boarding school, he went and he told his brothers that you all have no idea what you all are missing out on. So I think it's one of those things, like for those who have been in boarding school, they know the benefits of it. Those who haven't, it's just
No, so in college, when I stayed in a hostel for the first time, I realized it was liberating, okay? And it was like, अरे यहाँ रहते तो ज़्यादा मजा हो गया होता स्कूल के टाइम में भी. Because
yeah, and I think
हाँ, तुम जो मर्जी कर रहे हो, जैसे मर्जी कर रहे हो, तुमको सिर्फ पढ़ना है टाइम पे. And in hostel, because all friends are staying together, there is no extra time you have to take out for friends. वो वही है वो. तो आपकी पढ़ाई भी हो जाती है, आप थोड़ा सेल्फ डिपेंडेंट हो जाते हैं, थोड़ा कॉन्फिडेंट हो जाते हैं. You learn all the basics that are required, that are like actually survival instinct अलग तरीके से develop हो जाता है. But the thing is, when you are a kid, you are already attached to your parents, and I will always consider this entire dhamki of boarding school as a very toxic way of scaring your kids. तुमको हम वहां भेज देंगे हमसे दूर. अरे मतलब ये मैं ही हूँ क्या जो आपसे प्यार करता है? आप लोगों को मेरे से कोई प्यार नहीं है. बेसिकली मुझे सजा देने के लिए आप लोग वहां फेंक दोगे मुझे. But won't you get punished? अजीब ही है.
I mean, the father clearly doesn't see it that way, in the film. For him, it's like, okay, you know what? I don't know whether he's special or whatever. He's a regular kid. He's just lazy. So yeah, I'm kind of getting rid of him. But as I said, it's a very weird situation where the father is the only character in the entire film who's absolutely adamant, and he's 100% sure that he wants to go through with this decision of this boarding school.
Actually, I couldn't even accept Vipin Sharma as a nice person after that film for quite some time. I met him at Leaping Windows. He came and shook our hand and sat with us, and he's like, "अरे कुछ है तो बताओ, कुछ करते हैं." And constantly, whenever I'm looking at him, he looks like that straight face, grim father from Tare Zameen Par, and I'm like, कि उसके अलावा क्या कर सकते हो आप? मतलब ये तो हो गया, आपने जो दिखाना था दिखा दिया है मुझे. You're that kind of a father. And then I'm shaking that thought off my head. I'm like, a writer cannot think like that. He's an actor. He just played that role really well. You cannot judge him. Like you cannot judge him for 10 years. I was judging him for 10 years. Because he became the epitome of, toxic father for me. He played the role that well. But the thing is, what he was doing is he was personifying all the negativities that we can associate with Indian fathers.
Yeah, true.
हाँ, he
And
played it to the hilt. Like there was no this thing कि मेरे को थोड़ा तो soft दिखना चाहिए. He was exactly playing the serious father that we all have seen all our lives, all around us.
okay, so to wrap this up, last thoughts. Let's start with you, Peter.
I mean, for me, I'm just going to end up repeating myself, but watching it as a parent, it was one of those things that, gives you a glimpse as to, hey, this is the kind of side. I mean, of course, Alok rightly put it that we all know Indian parents or fathers such. They may not be like 100% like this. There'll be a certain percentage of them or a certain side of them at some point that will be there. So for me, it just made me more sensitive to issues like this around. I mean, be more mindful of it. And also, yeah, I mean, because every child, if you think about it, has a certain ability. And considering how arts is not really regarded as a big vocation in our country, it just highlighted that fact also for me. So yeah, I really enjoyed watching that.
That's nice. Alok, your any last thoughts?
So basically, when I watched Tare Zameen Par, I had never thought about parenting. Wasn't married. I'm not even married right now. For me, I was constantly looking at that film from the kid's perspective. I could relate totally 100% with the kid. And I could see what all can go wrong with a person like this kid. I'm really glad that nothing of that sort happened with me. I wasn't thrown into a hostel or anything. And my parents actually let me draw and let me take up a career. I mean, I started as a political cartoonist. So they never stopped me from drawing cartoons or anything. For me, it was like I got lucky. मतलब मेरा ये हाल हो सकता था, मैं इससे बच गया.
That's nice. That's nice. What I really would like to take away from this film is that the closeness that a parent has with the child, especially when schooling starts, it's very important to recognize certain signs early on. What your child is good at or might be good at or has a potential to be good at. Because we tend to always, look at academics, ranking a certain percentage that you have in your head at the end of the academic year. So I just feel that they should learn to see those signs, whether positive or negative, and then kind of react in a certain way. And this film most definitely, helps me, at least as a parent, to think through, even though they did not give any attention to that, because obviously that was the whole point of the story. But it made me think that, yes, this is how I need to really look at my child and see for those kind of potential. So yes, all in all, great film. I hope we continue to see such films. And having said that, our next film is sort of in that zone. It's almost like a sequel. Peter, what do you think?
Yeah, I mean, for me, there was a lot of marketing and everything else done around the film, which made it seem not like, a parenting film in a way. And
the film that we are talking about is Chichore, by the way, 2019, Jishan Singh and Shraddha Kapoor in it.
So I'm not an avid Bollywood film watcher, but I happened to end up in a cinema watching this film. And to add to it, I had my son, who was just 2 years old at that time, with me watching it. And yeah, man, it was a hard watch, especially in the start when you see everything that they go through. But yeah, I think you should take the lead on this one, Nadir.
So when I saw the film, it's almost like Tare Zameen Par Part 2 in a way, very loosely put. Obviously, you can almost imagine Ishan has now graduated from his school and he's moved on to college and he's studying to become an engineer. And the aspect of pressure, I think, becomes the most important in this film. And I think it's tackled very very interestingly, that how kids these days forget school. Now you've reached a point in your life where you have to decide your career and the kind of pressure that firstly you put on yourself as a student, the parents' pressure, the peers' pressure, the academicians' pressure, like all forms of pressure just kind of coming onto you, and then in the end, either you survive and you get through it, or you just implode internally. And I think this film has done that really well. It's done justice to the aspect of that pressure of how that child kind of goes through. Alok, from the pressure aspect of things, do you feel that a parent really needs to kind of draw a line somewhere and say कि boss अच्छा ठीक है इतना ही कर उससे नहीं होता है छोड़ दे.
So gladly I've seen a lot of parents who do that कि भाई तुझे करना है कर नहीं करना मत कर कोई problem नहीं है, right? But that percentage is really low. Yeah, we have parents around. Like my father, I'll tell you one very small anecdote from my life where I was getting awarded for in a cartoon festival, and my annual exams for my BCom were going on. Mercantile law का paper था 3 दिन के बाद, and I was getting awarded by R.K. Lakshman. So my father asked me, how prepared are you for your mercantile law paper? I was like, not really. I mean, these days I'll read and maybe I'll pass. He said, you'll just pass, right? So I said, yeah. He said, and you can give this paper again. I said, yeah. He said, but you won't get to meet your idol again, right? I said, yeah, I think so. So he said, you take your mercantile law book, read it on the bus. When you are there in the hotel, read it whenever you have time. But you go and do this thing. This chance will never come again. And I left my mercantile law paper. I went there, got awarded. Cartoon बनाया वापस आया. Somehow I passed also. I don't know how. But I'll always remember that. Yeah, I'll never forget. And my father is a very strict father. He's not your Anupam Kher from DDLJ. He's almost Amrish Puri from DDLJ. But he let me do that. जा सिमरन जी लेगी वाला moment हो गया मेरे साथ. And I would say that one thing has stayed with me. It's been more than 20 years since that thing happened. But when I look at parents nowadays, and then parents are trying to, अरे मैं डॉक्टर हूँ, मेरा बच्चा डॉक्टर बनेगा, and बच्चे के पीछे पड़ गए हो तुम और बच्चे को बनना ही नहीं है डॉक्टर. And you made the kid's life hell, you made your own life hell, because now your expectations are not getting met, right? So you're also unhappy because your expectations are not matched by the kid, and you're pressurizing the kid. So your home suddenly becomes a school. And वो बच्चे को कहीं escape नहीं है life में. मतलब आदमी की life में एक जगह तो सुख हो ना. School में नहीं है तो घर में हो, घर में नहीं तो
very very classic case of all engineers doing their engineering course for 5-6 years, and उसके बाद they become creative directors in production houses and agents.
I mean, engineers तो writers बन जाते हैं. मतलब आधे तो अपने writers engineers हैं, right? And I don't get this entire idea of people doing engineering and then doing MBA. I'm saying यार MBA कर ले, मतलब फिर engineering क्यों किया तू? Half the IITians go and then finish their MBAs, and it never, like, I'm unable to understand why that's happening. And maybe that happens because parents really want to see कि आप life में कुछ कर सकते हो कि नहीं. Another anecdote is from Subhash Chandra Bose's life. His father was like कि तू IAS कर ही नहीं सकता है. He went and passed IAS and like मैं पास करके दिखा दिया आपको, मैं वो करूंगा जो मेरे को करना है. But not everyone has that kind of power or that kind of stand in family. You're young, you cannot even fight back.
But then in this case, in the film, the son really wants to get into engineering. He really wants to. He's trying very hard. You can see signs that his paper has gone really well, and he's talking to his friends or whatever it is. But he constantly compares himself to the father at any given point in time, because even his father went through that whole process of engineering. The only difference is that his father was a national level ranker or a state level ranker, something. He was a ranker. And this guy is like, even if I come in the thousands, I'll be very happy. At least I get to do engineering, right? So there is clearly competition within, those the four walls itself. How do you tackle a situation like that? Like the kid clearly wants to.
There are two ways of looking at this challenge. One is the challenge pushed into your life through by the parent. यार तुझे ये करना ही पड़ेगा क्योंकि तेरे बाप ने ये किया है. Exactly the same thing that we discussed. कि what if Harivansh Rai Bachchan would have said कि यार तुझे भी poet बनना ही पड़ेगा क्योंकि मैं हूँ and now beat me in this game. अगर वैसा हो जाता, what will you do then? Who are you going to fight? Or else you are taking that as a competition. You're saying here, my father is an IITian, my father is this. So I also have to be this at least so that कम से कम इज्जत बनी रहे लाइफ में. अगर आपने वो खुद अपने ऊपर ले लिया है तब तो आपको भगवान भी नहीं बचा सकता. Then तो चांस ही नहीं है आपका.
So even in this case, that means when the parent genuinely wants to say, it's okay, calm down, don't worry, it's not the end of the world, but you will still go out and do it, which is exactly what this kid did. And then the unfortunate incident happened where he threw himself off the balcony and, whatever, almost killed himself. It's true.
In this, right? It's what Alok was talking about in the first part about the overachiever, that, you had the parent doing all of that. And now you have the kid who has to fill those shoes or has those unrealistic expectations that even I have to do it because my father did it. So even though the kid or the father doesn't put the pressure on there, like you had in Tare Zameen Par Ishan's father putting in the pressure in there, here it's an inherent pressure that just comes with being the son, right?
But do you also feel that the father is... Now, this could be a massive debate, okay? But do you also feel that the father was putting very subtle form of pressure by saying, Arey, once you go in the hostel, you will not get to see this and you will not get to eat that. And then he brings this lovely bottle of booze, 18-year whiskey, single malt, whatever. So, I mean, that is in a way kind of subtly pressuring your kid that, of course you'll pass, yeah. Why do you think you will not pass? If your papers have gone well, of course you'll pass. So, I don't know. I'm on the fence with that one.
No, I always feel it's up to you. See, your father can be a great engineer, he can be a great doctor, right? Greatness doesn't really is in matching your father's accolades in terms of कि अरे ये बंदा मेरा बाप IAS है तो मेरे को IAS बनना पड़ेगा, अगर मैं और कुछ बन गया तो मेरी इज्जत नहीं रहेगी. That is a very बहुत ही मतलब फ्रॉडियन ये थॉट प्रोसेस है कि मेरे को ये करना ही पड़ेगा मेरे फादर को अगर मैच करना है मुझे तो. And there are times when father is not really thinking in that particular way. Like Nadir, you will never push your career choices of what you became in life to your daughter's life. Or same goes with Peter. Most probably same goes with me. I don't know because I'm not in that space, so I cannot really comment. But what if the kid takes up that as a challenge? What will you do then? How are you going to explain that to the kid unless the kid has told you that? And here, in this case, kid doesn't tell them. He just tries to finish his life because he feels he's a failure.
Which is of course a kind of extreme thing that they show. And when you have to add the aspect over here, which isn't in the previous film, Tare Zameen Pe, is where you have the parents split up. So that adds a complete different dynamic to their relationship. And I think, if I'm not mistaken, the parents are co-parenting. So each one is kind of taking that turn with the kid, right?
Absolutely. I think the divorce angle in this film, in Chichore, has been tackled very, very maturely, and it sort of reflects, if not real, almost real kind of, a divorce marriage. So, which is very interesting. It's not too over the top. It's almost like, okay, weekdays I keep the kid and weekends you keep the kid. And another interesting that I found was that the mother walks out of the house after a divorce, but gives the custody of the son to the father. I found that very fascinating. I wouldn't say, "Arey, ye to hota hi nahi hai," but I found that aspect very fascinating.
No, यार हुआ किस लिए था divorce on क्या reasons थे, क्या चीजें थी, हमको पता ही नहीं है.
Yeah,
bring a lot of what if situations there, and we can keep creating Chichore ka ek parallel Chichora, but yeah, it showed this entire thing in a very interesting and a very modern fashion, I guess. That I agree.
Yeah, one thing I should add, to build on there, is I can't remember the exact character, but you have the friends that rally around him in there, and there's a very nice part, where you see the tension and the worry spreading among all of them, and then one of the friends calls up his son and says that, you know what, I had promised you that if you get this grade, I'll buy you the bike. It doesn't matter, whatever grade you get, I'll buy you the bike. And you don't hear the child's response, but you hear the father immediately kind of saying, no, I'm not kidding. So, I think that is kind of a lesson in there, because immediately the other parents also realize that, or start kind of reflecting as, hey, is this my parenting style? Am I putting undue pressure on my kids, or is my kids feeling overburdened by the pressure that I've kind of put in? I don't want my children to take, a step like that.
Which is, I think, an extension of every child is special. It comes straight from Tare Zameen Par, right? Because whatever my capabilities were when I was a student, I don't think I can expect the same thing from my child. And I think that's why the whole angle of losers sort of came about in the film, which is practically the backbone of the film. That even we were losers, even we were idiots. So it's perfectly all right. But yeah, strangely, all of us got into engineering college, but we were still losers. So I think it was very nicely kind of juxtaposed.
And I think it was a nice parallel story also, just to kind of show kind of some background to the parenting aspect. I mean, where they came from, and a kind of inspiration to the child, getting him through that situation.
Oh, true. Another very important thing in this film that they did tackle was work-life balance. Alok, I would like to actually pull you in this one. You work from home. You always work from home. But the angle of work-life balance and how it can affect the child, though I know you don't have a child, but just from the basic understanding of work-life balance, I think you would be able to explain the best to us what that means.
I'll tell you one very funny incident. So a friend of mine is again a writer, and his wife works in a TV channel. Okay, and he realized his bai was not treating him well. So the bai actually thought, the maid actually thought, okay, this guy just sits at home like my husband, and Didi works all day long. And the guy wasn't treated well at all. Like he's like, मैं पानी मांगता हूँ तो देती नहीं है मेरे को. So So this is what work-life balance is. Halaki, I'm very strict with my working from home situation. What I do is I lock my room. I won't say I'm like properly dressed like an office going person. That I don't do. Right? Like it is a 9 to 5 job, even if you're doing it from home. So that discipline is somewhere there. My 9 to 5 gets stretched to 9 to 9 or 9 to 4 or whatever early in the morning. So balancing it with say life, especially life with a partner, it becomes very difficult. Your partner needs to understand that there are times when you are just stressed out and you're not writing, and you'll start writing around 9 o'clock in the evening or night, you call it. So रात में आप 9 बजे लिखना शुरू करोगे और शायद 4 बजे तक लिख रहे होगे, and there's nothing bad with that. But the thing is, you need to have a partner who understands that. So if my partner is unable to understand कि ये यार दिन भर बैठा हुआ है, घूम रहा है, यहाँ वहाँ कॉमिक्स पढ़ रहा है और रात में लिखने बैठ रहा है 10 बजे, and if they don't know where I'm coming from and how I work, it will be very difficult for them to understand what I do. And if I would have been doing an office job when I'm having a kid, मैं अगर ऑफिस जाता रहा और मैं 2-3 साल के बाद वो नौकरी छोड़ के वापस इस लाइफ में आता हूँ, so it will be very difficult for the kid to understand कि what exactly happened to my dad. He never goes out and घर पे रहता है, बाकी लोग के बाप रहते ही नहीं है घर पे. Maybe my kid might be very happy with that कि यार पूरा टाइम देता है. He or she might get really frustrated with me कि पूरे टाइम घर में रहता है, privacy नहीं है. तो अभी तो है ही नहीं, हुआ ही नहीं है वो कुछ, तो I cannot really comment on that.
But Peter, I think in our case things are slightly different. We fortunately or unfortunately don't have the the liberty of working from home. So for us it becomes crucial that when we come back home after work has to stay outside home, because then it's family time and need to spend time with your child. And in our case it's both the husband and wife are working. So then that becomes extremely crucial for the relationship also to grow between parent and child.
No, I agree. I mean, we've discussed this quite a bit in our previous
Right.
episodes, but you know, having that understanding comes, and it is a lot of planning. I mean, a lot of people will think that how does someone else do it? It's just you put in those hours. I mean, look at the thing we're doing right now and the time we're doing it at, right? The recording. That's part of the whole process of working and playing that balance, right?
There was this one very strange line in the film towards the end where the kid is listening to the story wrapped in attention, and then he goes, "Oh my God, didn't you all feel like killing yourselves?" And I found that very strange that a 19, 18, 19-year-old kid, if something goes wrong, the first thing you think of is death. It's really morbid. I mean, I don't know
Because,
for cinematic reasons, but it's very strange that a child would think of death if something goes wrong.
because their life experience is 19 year, right? The entire
Yeah.
lifetime is 19. उसने उतनी दुनिया देखी है. So the first biggest failure becomes the end of life for them. But all of us see failures almost, I won't say every day, but we see a lot of failure in our lives. We pitch a lot of ideas that get killed. We pitch a lot of stories that are really close to our hearts and nobody likes them. Then you are working on things that you really never wanted to work on. There are so many failures that we deal with day in, day out. So you start getting used to it. You start getting used to the idea that whether life works in my favor or not, I will go on. I will keep fighting. But for a 19-year-old, I don't think there's a lot of failure or there's a lot of damage in their lives.
Especially for I think his name was Raghav. Especially for him, considering his father is doing extremely well for himself. He's clearly very rich, lives in a very good house, so he's got all the comforts of life. And now suddenly this comes along, so he clearly can't take it.
No, I think, see, if you put it into context as if this is your first failure, right? So what is your previous failure in there? And like Alok mentioned earlier, depending on the scale of what you've seen in the past, and for him doing a competitive exam, and you put it into context that this is something that will determine the rest of your life. You add further context to that your dad, who is so successful now, you will not do. I mean, we have enough scenarios of that happen in real life. So yeah.
Also in India, major percentage of suicides are actually academic failure suicides.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sad.
Yeah, followed by failure in romantic relationships, and then failure in business or whatever other things. So the major chunk of suicides in India, I think, and most of the Southeast Asia, because we are the people who really push our kids into academics.
True.
And we judge our kids' abilities based on their academic, what do you call it, the marks and their position in school and all those things. So for them, that becomes the crux of their life and crux of their lives during the forming years.
Yeah,
So
and
this
also
else that
determining your future, right?
Yeah. So that is why if you see, I was in Malaysia when Three Idiots got released, and Three Idiots was a massive hit over there, and it
Right.
was a huge hit in China. Most
Right.
of the places, most of the Southeast Asia, Three Idiots worked like nobody's business, because I think every person had gone through that, and they all felt bad about failed academics and all those things. People were able to relate to that entire thing of
Correct.
एक्सीलेंस के पीछे भागो, सक्सेस तो अपने आप आपके पीछे आएगी. सो वो एक्सीलेंस हम लोगों को समझाया नहीं जाता. हमारे लिए एक्सीलेंस का एक ही मतलब है कि अगर आप एकेडमिकली अच्छा कर रहे हो तो आप एक्सीलेंट हो. बाकी सारी चीजें सेकेंडरी है. You could be an amazing artist, you could be Michelangelo for all I care. बट अगर आपके मैथ में अच्छे नंबर नहीं आ रहे हैं तो आप किसी काम के नहीं हो.
That's a very crucial piece of advice, Alok, and I think I believe that would be like your summation of the discussion that we've had. The one thing that I kind of take away from this film is the whole aspect of undue pressure, not just from your parents, but also as a student. I think you kind of need to take a step back and see the bigger picture and realize that, okay, you know what, things are not going to be that bad if I kind of fail. And I think failure is something that has to be experienced by everyone. Rejection has to be experienced by children also. I think that's why even as a parent, I feel that every time a kid falls, right, you can't just rush to the child and pick up the child and say, oh, are you okay, whatever. It's all right, let that child sort of experience that. And failure is just like that. It's just a bad fall that you've got to get up, dust yourself, and kind of walk again. I feel that's very crucial. Peter, what are your last thoughts?
No, I mean, just to build on what you're saying, if you think about it as a society, right, we don't celebrate failures. It's only kind of focused on, the excellent, the best, which are, again, if you see, not even single percentage points of, digit percentages kind of thing. But for me, it was an interesting film. I mean, there were many layers to it that you had, but again, very similar reaction to what I had when I watched Tare Zameen Pe. It's that, as a parent, you may be thinking that you're doing your best, but there are going to be things that you'll completely miss out on, and it just makes you more sensitive and more aware, I guess. And just that you may be putting undue pressure, and how do you kind of avoid doing that? Because teenagers, as all of us remember, are very strange times, right? That was what I kind of got out of the movie.
Great. I think it was a very healthy and a fun discussion at 12:30 at night on a Saturday. And Alok, at this point, I would like to thank you and apologize to you as well.
No, my day just began, so.
Hashtag Writer Life.
Hashtag Writer Life, yeah.
But Alok, thank you so much. Sincerely, we really appreciate your time and the thoughts that you brought to this discussion. It definitely was far livelier. So thank you so much for all those inputs. And hopefully we'll have you back again.
Definitely. I would love to be here. I would love to learn more about parenting from all you guys. So I think I need to learn a lot. And I'll definitely go back and see episodes. You guys have already scared me a lot.
Good. Thank you so much, Alok. This is to all our listeners. If you all have any suggestions, or if you all have any of your own stories that you would like to share with us, please write to us on popsinapod@gmail.com, or you can leave a comment on Instagram. Just search for popsinapod, and the handle that shows up. Feel free to write any comment on the latest post that you see, and we will most definitely get in touch with you. Till then, I am Nadir Pop.
And I'm Peter Pop.
Thank you for listening, and see you guys next week.